Welcome to Mobile Armor Radio, the podcast for all things Mecha. Jumpship incoming.
Hello everyone and welcome to another exciting episode of Mobile Armor Radio. Woo! Yeah! The March edition. Got the month right this time.
Yay! I think it's the first time.
I am one of your hosts, Brian Novak.
I am Chopper.
I'm always last. I'm Rob.
We should switch that around sometimes. Like, well, when you get to go, like when you're leading it, you're technically first.
That's true. I'll bring up the rear every other time. That's good.
We have the order so we don't like start stumbling over each other.
That's right. Let's not screw this up.
Yeah. Well, we're on track right away, so we'll be jumping into some news here, talk a little bit about what we're working on, what we've watched or consumed as far as media goes lately, and then we'll be getting into the MechBay with our topic of the week. Month.
Year.
Crap!
Decade.
I was on it.
You're right. Almost there. Almost there. We'll get it right by 20.
By 20, yeah.
Dropship landing.
Alright, and so we'll start off with what folks are working on in the dropship section. Alright, so let's start with Rob. What have you been up to lately?
Oh, jeez.
What's that mean?
You got a lot of stuff going on.
Not really. I painted up my Robotech battle droid. I have a model that I had for a long time. I finally painted him. I painted him like Rick Hunter's colors, so the red and white. It turned out pretty cool. And I also I had a different scale.
Did you post him?
Yeah, I think I posted him.
Oh.
If not, I'll post all of my pictures. And I add another scale for the Guardian mode Battletech, and I did him like Max, so he's all blue and white. So I got them, plus I have the one that I got like last for Christmas time. I have the other scale. It's another scale. It's actually kind of similar to my other Gerwak scale of Roy. So now I got all three mechs, so the main mechs there. So it's looking good so far. I gotta get some other ones, but that's working out well. So I've been painting those up. I also I'm doing the Blackjack painting challenge on Facebook. If you can go to search for Blackjack painting challenge, I'm sure it'll pop up. They do a painting challenge every week or every month, and this one is to paint any models with just washes. So I'm doing a Wolf's Dragoons Battletech Lance just in washes, and it's looking pretty muddy, but they're coming along. It's taking a lot of layers of all different shades going on here. So
do you do like a flat base then for that, like a primer, and then just wash?
Yeah, I've Zenith highlighted them for the primer, and then now I'm just doing washes on top. Yep. So it's
you can do to answer to expound on Brian's question is you can also do white, primer white, and then just wash up from there. Yeah,
it's pretty much, well, when I did the Zenith, it was, for the shadows it was dark, but it was pretty much white, most of them, so it really was pretty light.
Okay.
And they're red, so they're Wolf's Dragoons, so it's first off they're like pink, so you have to like really put some more washes on, try to get the color darker, and putting a lot of dark washes on too for the recesses. And
you didn't post your Rick Hunter. I
will. Jeez. Fresh.
By the time the episode drops.
That's right. It was posted. It's always been there. And the last thing, I got the Gundam loot. I actually, for the once, I haven't got to build my one model, but I did build my Harupla Mobile Haru model. It's a Haru in a mobile suit.
That's awesome.
Haru.
But that kit, like, it's Haru, so it's stupid, but the kit itself was a great build. It's really articulated, and it's amazing how much articulation's in that little suit. Too bad it's a Haru piloting it, but it's really nice model. So that was fun. And I have another Neo Xeon to do later, but I haven't started them. Well, I started them, but not really got too far into them. I think that's about it for what I've been working on.
You got your Legos.
Oh, yes. I was going to talk about that more in what we're doing, but Mobile Frame Zero, I'll be talking about that more later. But yes, I did do the from I got some knockoff Legos from AliExpress, and I built them up super cheap. Go to AliExpress and type in like Mech Lego, and you can find them. And mostly I got it because one of them looks like a Marauder, so it's
they look pretty sweet.
They're kind of fun.
The designs that they got.
Yeah, like pretty much the pieces you get, you can only build what you get because it's very specific pieces. I guess you could be a little creative with it, but very loose. I had to glue some parts, otherwise they would have flopped all over the place. So it's not like real Lego, but it's fun. They were fun building them. There's a few models I really like. You get 4 in a pack for like $9.
You can put them together with the Craggle.
The Craggle.
But yeah,
nice.
Yeah, they're pretty fun. I haven't played with Lego since I was like 5, so I'm pretty over it. I like model kits. I'm not so big on Legos. But that's
at least cool. Knockoff Legos, at least, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, real kits maybe, but
Mega Blocks.
Once again, the real kits though, they cost so much money. I'm not made of money here. I gotta save some money for some more Jetfires. I got
loot crates I gotta pay for.
That's right. Come on.
Nice. Very nice.
So that's what I've been working on.
Cool. What have you been working on, Chopper?
Well, actually, I've been working a little bit more on my cav. I started working on my infantry and tanks for my rack units now. So painted up all the bases. I got them all little tiny men's. I got them all painted up, and I'm just waiting for to go around for some highlights to get them going. They're pretty small, so I don't have to do a whole lot. I might even just dry brush them and call it a day.
What are they for? What are they? The
infantry, the powered armor guys.
Where'd they come from, though? Like, did you get actual cav ones, or did you get something else? Oh, really, cav?
Yeah.
I didn't know cav made infantry.
Yeah, they make the heavy armor and powered armor. I don't think they make light armor.
Neat.
But I think they're going to make light armor.
Yeah, well.
But in the end, it really doesn't make a difference because they're so small, and you just, as long as you have the right stats for them.
Yeah, I was thinking about using my clicks, the MechWarrior clicks for that.
Yeah, because I'm dropping a bunch of mortar teams. I give them a transport, and then here we go, dropping bombs. So I've been working on that. And then I finally actually opened up what is this? Robotech RPG Tactics.
Oh, yeah.
I got that box. I picked up that box.
Is that the big one?
Yeah, I picked it up for like $20.
Yeah, the big set.
When I saw it for 20, actually I lied, 25.
Yeah, that's
when I found it for 25. I was like, you know what? $25, I'll buy it.
Yeah, now that Palladium's lost the license, those things are going like water.
I mean, every once in a while you can find them for $25, $30, but for the most part, the average price is about $40-$50, which is still a good deal.
Yeah, it's still a good deal.
Yeah. I think ours at our little game shop that's still sitting there is like 60 or 70 actually.
You gotta let
it's
him
still
know.
half price.
That's gotta come down to at least 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were seeing it at Gen Con last year for like 20, so.
Yeah, and I kind of kicked myself in the butt for not buying it, but I was because it was such a poorly ran, or I shouldn't say poorly ran, it was just such a colossal failure.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like there's a combination of some mismanagement as well as just things out of their contrul.
Rather than just cast blame, I'm just going to call it a colossal failure.
Yeah.
I didn't want any part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, especially everybody blamed Palladium at the time, but now with Ninja Division failing too, so I think there was more issues at foot there. It's not just Palladium's fault, but
when you start to peel the onions away, you start to see not that Palladium is by far.
Yeah, we're not saying they're not bad.
Is not out of the woods or partially responsible because they, everyone knows the Palladium guy. Everyone knows the story of Tim. So
yeah. We wish them all the best and that things get better, but
we wish them best for their future endeavors.
So, I finally opened it up, and the model kits, I started to put together a couple sprues, and the model kits are nice. Rob seemed to have a lot of cursing, he said, when he put his together. I did not have as much a hard time. The only thing,
they're only complaint tiny, aren't they?
They're 32. Looks like they're 32.
Well, they're Battletech scale. They're the same scale as Battletech. They fit perfectly.
Okay.
Well, at least the Robotech, like the good guys do. The bad guys are a different scale.
Yeah, the Zentratis are way too big.
Yeah.
But there are a couple few small pieces, but I'm used to working with smaller kit models, especially with the real grades that I like to build.
Sure.
That I didn't have too much, and I'm using model glue instead of super glue to put these things together, so you get a little bit of leeway, and your fingers don't stick together.
Yeah, that probably helps a lot right there.
When you're playing with these small pieces, so with the small piece with the plastic cement, you can just kind of drop the small piece in and move it around with like a paper clip and get it in the right spot.
Mm-hmm.
But I built the Veritech fighter, built a Gerwalk version, and then I built 2 Batloids or Bat Droids, whatever camp you belong in. And I actually went so far as to put the heads for Max Sterling and Roy Fokker on there.
Oh wow!
And so
that's the thing. There's so much choice, eh? Like you had so many extra legs and arms and heads and.
Yeah, there's a ton of heads and a ton of arms, that's for sure. But the arms aren't grouped in any reasonable sense. Like, oh, that gun will go for that arm.
Right. So, it's not like a pair.
It was like my. I don't know if you were around for that incident. The Test of Honor. The Test of Honor meltdown I had about putting the stupid katanas on those guys, find the right arm.
See, that's a weird thing. I never had a problem with Test of Honor, but I had a huge problem with these guys. Right?
But I had to put a couple arms together before I found the right ones to fit in. And, but they're actually nice, I don't hate on them, but.
Well, once they're built, I think they're great. They have a lot of posability.
You get that, it's just got that stigma of, how so many, 1 point something odd million dollars and there are still thousands of people who didn't get any of it.
Yeah, let alone Wave 2. Like I don't think anybody got Wave 2, and
lots of people didn't. Wave 2 didn't even exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Wave 1, a lot of people didn't even get, so that was one of the big failures of Kickstarter, famously, but their loss is our gain, because we're getting these real cheap.
Yeah. I know Miniature Market has a bunch of clearances with the smaller box kits, like for the Tomahawk, whatever that's called. And
yeah, one is the Warhammer, one's the Rifleman, and one's the Archer.
Destroyed and whatever.
Yeah.
The monster.
That's why I got them. I got them for like $8 each for like 4 models. It was really cheap.
Yeah. So I couldn't pass it up. I mean, if you like Robotech, they're great models. I haven't played the game yet. I don't know anyone has played the game yet.
No, I've never heard anybody play the game.
I have the rule book. I have everything. So, technically we could play the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I might sit down, maybe because I'm going on vacation soon, maybe on the plane I'll take a glance, because I did go through and look through, some reviews on it just for giggles. And, there are a couple of guys that said the rulebook was actually fairly decently put together, and so
okay,
I might check it out. Maybe I'll check it out.
Nice.
So,
could be a hidden gem.
That's what I'm working on.
Very cool. Well, as far as what I've been working on, I know I'm always the one that's the kind of downer of not opening any Gundam boxes lately. Always kind of strapped for time to put towards hobby stuff. Had to do a lot of prep for Adepticon, which we've got coming up. So that took a majority of that time. But I'm continuing to assemble the pieces that I need for some of these mech conversion projects for my tabletop gaming. I've gotten more of the pieces together for my little fantasy mecha. I think I've got the legs and the start of the torso. So slowly but surely that's starting to take shape. Because I'm not buying the core body. I think I mentioned last time I'm kind of going with the Eldar Wraith Knight as kind of the main frame. Because it's A, tall enough, and B, kind of fits the aesthetic I was going with. But so getting those pieces together, but certainly not buying it out of the box.
Yeah.
Because I think those might I don't know if they only come in those big Craft World sets, but nothing against those that play the Warhammer 40Ks. I'm not into it anymore, and that's perfectly fine. But yeah, I've got my little Gurren Lagann Iron Ancestor project. Started piecing together the parts and pieces for that. Kind of the combo of an Iron Ancestor and a Strider, and some drills from Veerman. So I'm going to be making it like 100% Mantic, which is kind of a fun thing to do. Let's see, other things. Ironically, I did find, speaking of Robotech, someone was just selling like one of the Veritech sprues on eBay for like $2-3. So I wound up getting that with a couple other things. Nice. So yeah, I'm waiting for that day where I can go into our hobby shop and pick up some of these games, because Evolution Games, our main go-to store, is going to be moving by the time this podcast is released. Is actually going to be at a new location, most likely, which is not too far away, and it's going to be a bigger space, which is pretty cool. But he's got a copy of the Robotech game. He's got a copy of was it the Heavy
GKR?
GKR. And you know, depending on the budget following, or I suppose prior to Adepticon and probably following, might determine if I pick one or both of those up at some point.
Well, you should tell him that the GKR box is so big, it's not worth moving. Might as well just sell it to you for like half price, and you'll be all good.
He had two, but I only see one of there now, so maybe
and it's a good game, and I think it's worth the money.
Yeah, I'd be excited to get that. I know I've talked about splitting it with a few other friends that are in the area, and each of us kind of taking like one of the mechs or something. But that'll probably come to pass at some point. But yeah, that's kind of the predominant part of my hobby stuff. I've just been sprucing up and kind of retouching my little Strider conversions as well. Getting them a little bit readier for Adepticon for the mech battle. I get a lot of flack because I use like poster putty for a lot of things. Mostly just to hold things in place, but I have been slowly migrating that to actual like green stuff for my miniatures. So it's mostly kind of redoing the joints with that for a lot of those. But they should be happy because I now have like a decent carrying case that keeps them from jostling all over the place. So they survive trips a lot better these days.
Nice.
But yeah, I think that's pretty sure that covers my hobby stuff. I didn't build any SD Gundams or nothing like that yet. But I might soon. But yeah, that's kind of what we're all working on then. Cool. And with that, I think we'll be coming back in a short bit to go into ComStar and talk about all sorts of media that's been going on.
Message from ComStar.
All right, and here we are at ComStar. Now, we've got a couple of news pieces to talk about in the giant mech world. So one of which was the new Battletech tabletop. The newest edition of it is out and available now.
Yeah, finally they finally got their Chinese distribution in order, and it seems to be selling out everywhere. But it's going to be continuous production. It's not going to be limited, so the stores will be able to get stock back in, which will be nice. And it's a beautiful box set.
Good.
Yeah, and I'm hearing everyone love it, so it's good that it's coming back, you know?
Yeah, and it comes in, there's two sets that it comes, you can get it in. I actually picked up the beginner box set, which comes with two plastic mechs. I forget which ones they are.
And Griffin and a Wolverine, I think, maybe? Something like that.
I think so. Sadly, I don't have it right in front of me right now. But and then it has a handful of other like cardboard ones with stands that you can work with. And then there's and that one goes for like, under $20 for the most part. It's pretty cheap and affordable. It's a great intro. The beginner box is what that one's called.
Yeah, that's the 2-1, yeah. And the next one is the introductory set, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It is kind of the core set, I think that might be called. And I think that comes with 8 mechs in it. Along with, I think that one has like the full rule book as well, if I recall correctly. So, and that one's going for like 55, I think. Most retail places, you might be able to get it cheaper. But yeah, I haven't gotten a chance to play it just yet. Like I mentioned, they're doing a lot of prep for Adepticon. So some of these other side games are still on hold. But I'm really excited to finally get into that. I've been playing the video game version of it quite a bit. I know getting really pumped for like joining in Cav and doing Battletech. I imagine they're obviously different games, but I am definitely looking forward to getting into that.
Yeah, so it's a mech renaissance for all those games coming out, so you got a lot of choice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm going to start getting into Alpha Strike, so I got to get the Alpha Strike box, or the Alpha Strike book, so I'm going to have to find that somewhere.
I'm curious about the Alpha Strike, so if anyone's played Alpha Strike, drop a comment, tell us what you think.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's a good thing about those box sets, they come with the Alpha Strike cards for them too, so you get, if you do have the rule set for Alpha Strike, you get that too there with it. So that's cool.
I don't know if mine came with with cards.
Yeah, because you got the previous version.
Yeah, well, that came with way more mechs.
Yeah, I think it came with like 24 mechs or something stupid.
Oh, nice.
It was a lot.
Yeah. But they toned it down now, realizing they couldn't keep putting out a box set with 24 mechs.
Especially if they're having trouble with their distribution.
Yeah, so. This is a more reasonable price, too. Like you say, it's $60. You get way more than enough to play a few games, so. Then you can always go to Iron Wind Miniatures to expand, or get the old Alpha Strike plastics.
24.
Yeah.
Look at it again. They're calling it the 25th anniversary Industry box set now.
Okay.
Well, it's now the 35th anniversary, so that's older than we thought.
Yeah.
Math is hard.
They did come out with 35th anniversary sweatshirts and t-shirts and stuff you can go buy for Battletech too. That just released for this year, so that's cool. Always more swag.
Swag.
And then speaking of other properties that are kind of making that comeback, I know we mentioned it previously when it was previewed at Gen Con, but Pat, you managed to pick up the Robotech Attack on SDF-1.
I did. I did.
And it looks sweet.
It's fun. I actually played the game because it's just your regular tower defense kind of game in its sense, but it's got a lot more to it because in the game they call them episodes. Each turn is an episode. And in the scenario booklet, it tells you what happens in each episode. So, like your first episode, you play. Basically, you're playing through the series of Robotech. The Zentradi, so the first wave, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. So I played up until we jumped to Pluto.
Okay.
So that was the third episode, and you could play with 4 heroes. Each hero can take an action. There's kind of things like that, and there's little setups and things that can go wrong. Little situations like with the jump. The population in the ship takes a hit, and your population determines how many extra actions you can give to all your other guys.
Okay.
And things like that. And then just like a tower defense, then the Zentradi have an orders card, and you got to follow through with all that and move them around and things like that. So it's pretty fun in a sense. I'd like to try it with some real people instead of just by myself next time.
Sure.
Is it total co-op, or is it somebody plays the bad guys and you? Or is
it's total co-op. It's total co-op. It's tower
cool.
defense. Everyone working together, and they have these action ability points because every character has special abilities, and you have to spend the ability points. But the pool of ability points is finite, so you have to that's where you work with the other players.
Kind of negotiate. It's like, I need.
Well, you can negotiate, but when it's your turn, the rule specifically says that no one can stop you from spending if you want to.
Rick Hunter, darn you!
I'm spending all the ability points. But like I was using Roy Fokker, and one of his things is to pull all the Battletech fighters in one area to him.
Oh, jeez.
So, and that came in handy for me because one time I had 6 battle pods just sitting in the sector just outside, getting ready to. So by the time their orders came up, I'm sure all 6 of those would have landed on top of the SDF-1 and just wreaked havoc, because once the battle pods make it on the SDF-1, they bypass armor and go straight to structure damage.
Oh, wow.
But the cool thing is you get destroids that they can walk around the outside of and shoot. They can't fly into space, but they can walk around the ship and shoot. And you can what I thought was really cool and was excited for is that you can upgrade them to monsters. You hardly ever see the monster in Robotech, and the fact that you get to use the monster now, and it's awesome.
Yeah,
yeah. It looks super sweet, and that is it cardboard for the most part, like the standing SDF-1.
And the way the cardboard joints work, they're kind of notched. So once you get them in, if you keep pulling them in and out, they start to wear, and then they don't stick as tight as well. So
right.
My suggestion is if you do get this game and you put the SDF-1 together, just leave it together and just do what I do. I just have it sitting on top of the box.
Kind of have it as a little showcase.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, we're going to need that.
I took it apart one time, and then when I put it back together again, it just wasn't as sturdy. Mm-hmm. Not that it's not sturdy. It was. I could tell that it's not, that if I kept doing this, it was going to be horrible.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, okay. Cardboard wears pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So, but there's much more to it. Like as much as I hate MechBay, she's got a card in there that as long until you. There's also things you get research points, so you can buy upgrades and stuff. But she's got a card that stays in play and basically adds +1 action point. So every time you need to do an action, you have to add, and you have to spend an extra one to make it happen. I think they called it MechBay's Drama, which is so apropos.
Do you have to sing a song while she's doing it?
No, I wish. But you have to drop a bunch of you have to waste 4 research points, and those are hard to come by, just to get rid of that card. And I'm like, oh. So, and that was episode 3 by the time. So I went through 3 episodes of all my guys having to add +1, so they can only do, say like they had 4 action points, they can only do 2 actions then, 2 1-point actions because everything is +1.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it gets to be pretty hard in that sense. You're like, oh my god, what do I do? Do I waste all my extra points to do this one thing? Or do I do 2 things? And in the meantime, you're getting hammered by battle pods and cruisers and flagships.
Yeah, that might be a auto buy at Gen Con this year for me, that one.
Yeah, it's fun. I truly enjoy it. And so, I said, I can't wait to play it with other people, so you get the chaos of other people trying to, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
So
that should be a fun time. Awesome. I got 2 other things. One big announcement was we've mentioned it a couple times now, but the Gundam NT movie is going to be coming out here at the time of this recording very soon. By the time the episode is out, it will have come and gone.
Yeah. The 19th, February 19th, right?
Yeah. And I think it's a one-night only kind of thing.
It is a one-night only, because I was thinking about doing it, but what is that, a Wednesday, right? Tuesday.
Yeah.
Because it is playing in a theater just up the street from me, so I might actually go do it.
I'm sure, though, after it gets out, it'll go quickly to on-demand, either Netflix or other on-demand services.
I think the attraction here is that you're seeing a Gundam movie in the theaters.
Yeah, that does not happen often. Especially in the States.
And as old as I am, I've never seen a Gundam movie in the theater.
Yeah. I think the closest, and I think I mentioned it last time, was I saw the Eureka 7 movie in theaters, which was like in the early days of them even showing anime in movie theater. Sadly, I think I'm going to be missing this one because I'm always busy on Tuesdays, and the closest theater for me is like Detroit, which is like 2 hours away. So I do not foresee that one happening for me, sadly. But it takes place, I believe, following the events of Gundam Unicorn. So if you get a chance if you went and saw it, please let us know in the comments, because that's pretty exciting. And hope everyone that has the option can make it. And if not, we'll find out how good it is. The Universal Century continues. It refuses to stop. And the last piece of kind of major news that I have, and then kind of getting into other things that we've just been enjoying lately, is the Alita Battle Angel movie just came out not too long ago. Did you guys get a chance to see that?
No, not yet.
Or planning to?
I plan to. I just haven't yet.
I plan on seeing it too. I haven't done it either.
I actually managed to go see it yesterday, and I gotta say, it was a really fun movie. Kind of had that Ready Player One feel, because there's a whole lot of CG. Mm-hmm. And I know there's some folks that Uncanny Valley thing really hits them hard in the head. But if you can get past that, it makes for a really good movie. Really, like, from a special effects standpoint, like, visually, it's a very fascinating and detailed world that kind of gets set up for us. And the rollerball scene, I'll just call it that, you just kind of see in some of the trailers, is really awesome. If any of you watched IGPX, it's an anime from the early days of Toonami. It was kind of that. It was like mechs with racing. Very, very reminiscent of that, but much more violent. I'd also say too, it was kind of neat, is that it was a movie that feels like it was made with a teenage audience in mind, as opposed to like being aimed at an adult audience and then pared back for a teen audience. So like that PG-13, it feels right at home. And not to say that, people that are older than teens can't enjoy it, but I thought it was really cool that you get a sci-fi, like cyberpunk movie that can appeal to a younger audience and get them interested in this, fun future take on the world. Lots of cyborg bodies. Lots of cyborg bodies. But yeah, go see it. It's pretty awesome. Actually, by the time this comes out, I don't know if it'll be in theaters much longer. But
I'm sure it will be out. Yeah, the only thing to knock it out will be Captain Marvel's coming out soon. So
yeah. But yeah. So that's kind of our like news talking points. Throw it back to Chopper. Was there anything else that you've been enjoying lately?
Honestly, media time has been cut back, so either I get to work on models and not watch anything, or I get to watch things and not work on any models at this point. But I did have gotten through a couple of episodes of Genlock.
Yes.
Oh, nice. I've been hearing great things.
It's really good. I really like the premise and the idea of the whole thing.
That's from Rooster Teeth, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of great voice acting in it, and
there's a lot of good people in it, surprisingly enough.
A nice combination of like anime mechs with also almost like Battletech mechs. Like they got both things going there. And
yeah, like those walkers that they were in the very first episode. are spectacular.
Yeah. Fun stuff, and a good storyline so far, and pretty in depth, and a lot of mystery going on about what's actually happening, and I think it's going to get really good.
Nice.
Unfortunately, it's on Rooster Teeth First, or whatever it's called. You have to have a subscription to get
subscription
more
service.
Yeah.
I think what is it? It kicks in on the third episode,
second or third one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're into it, do it, and if you don't want to pay, I'm sure there's ways you can not pay and do it anyways.
Or maybe you can pay for a 1 month subscription and then cancel as soon as you're done.
Yeah. Wait till they're all out and then watch them all at once and then, cancel again.
Yeah.
But, well worth it. Anyways, it's, real fun.
Nice.
But as far as everything else, that's all I've gotten under my belt for mech-wise is, Genlock.
Gotcha.
That being said, Bandai, if you're listening, model kits, need them.
Yeah.
For Genlock. Especially those walkers.
Yeah.
That would be interesting to see who actually picks up a license to make model kits for that.
I hope somebody does, yeah. Bandai would be the logical one, but who knows?
Who does the Ruby stuff?
Do they actually have toys for that?
I think they have action, like the posable, I don't know if it's Figma, or something like that.
Diamond Select or something?
I have seen them, yeah.
Are they models or are they figs?
I think they're toys. They're more like figures, right?
The posable figures, the less toys, I guess. I don't know where you draw the line, I guess.
But you don't put them together. They come pre-assembled and pre-painted and everything.
Yeah.
But that's for the Ruby ones. They're actual people, so that makes more sense. For the mechs, I think it would make more sense to make them into model kits, but...
Yeah.
But you could, like I say, Diamond Select does, the Pacific Rim ones, so I could see them maybe doing something like that, or, what's the other one? Somebody else does the Robotech ones. I can't remember who makes those. Tonami, maybe? One of those ones. So, there's a lot of companies that make, that kind of stuff that I'm sure if it's popular enough, if they get enough following, maybe they'll get some of that going on.
Yeah. That'd be pretty cool. What have you been, enjoying then, Rob?
Well, it's a bit of news that you missed, that the new Cavs, Quick Start rules are out, and we'll have the link.
Oh, yeah.
We'll have the link in the, show notes, the free Quick Start rules you can check out. Just a lot of little tweaks about things in there. It's not a total rewrite or anything, but might as well get the newest stuff going.
Mm-hmm.
And, as we mentioned earlier, I've been getting into, Mobile Frame Zero. It's, a game you can use any models really, but, it's built to use, the Lego mini models. And, the book, I bought the book. It's a really weird form factor. It's about half the size of a regular book and sideways, almost like a, Battletech, technical readout. So you read it sideways. So it's a weird form factor, but, really nice produced. And, so there's that, and you can make your own model kits. There's a whole forum on Facebook groups. If you look for Mobile Frame Zero, there's a lot of guys making cool stuff, and you could go there. And like I said, cheap to start. If you want to just get some cheap, illegal, copyrighted, stuff, go to AliExpress. You get 4 guys for $9. You get into the game, start playing it out. It looks fun. I haven't really read through it too much, but, just getting into it. And I have to give a shout out to, Vitor Feria, I guess. How you pronounce your last name? Sorry. For letting us know about that one, because he's really into it, and he's got us going in that one. So that's fun. Mobile Frame Zero. Once again, we'll have the link in the show notes to where you can, buy the book. I think the PDF is free, but you can buy the hardcover. Or a hard copy. It's not a soft cover, but a hard copy. Also I got a few new Transformers. I got, the Sideswipe, Masterpiece KO, which is super cheap, but he's awesome. And I got, the Thundercracker for one of the, jets from, G1. They reissued them from Walmart a few years ago, so I got one of those. He's pretty cool too. The only problem with Transformers nowadays is there's so many different scales. They have all these different scales of everything, so nothing really fits together, but they're nice to look on the shelf, so.
Yeah. Well, it's, kind of on not to tangent too much, but that's actually another announcement for Guy. The Transformers, Netflix is picking them up to do was it a prequel?
Yeah, a prequel War on
that they
Cybertron,
might be doing the War of Cybertron. So, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, there's a toy line out, so they're finally making a show about that toy line. It's all the alt modes, like all the vehicle modes, are like Cybertronian versions of their modes. So the jets look like little spaceships, and and they're all very similar to what they are, but they're just slightly sci-fi, I guess.
Yeah, The 2 video games for that were really good.
Yeah,
the War for Cybertron in the fall.
Yeah, so I think they're just trying to expand that whole world to sell more toys. Hopefully it'll be good. Like I hope it's more like Voltron, a little bit more you can watch as an adult. Because a lot of the Transformers cartoons out right now are really pointed at kids. You get like the Rescue Bots and all those ones.
Yeah.
And yeah, so hopefully this one's more focused for adults can enjoy it too. So we'll have to check it out.
I heard people also really like the Bumblebee movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but it's getting good reviews.
I've been meaning to check it out, but
and they just announced for that it's going to jump off a whole new reboot for the Transformers series. So that'll be fun because finally they look like how they should look like, not just balls of metal rolling around. They actually look like their G1 counterparts. So it's kind of fun.
That's good.
I have a friend who watches the show and everything. And he swore off the Michael Bay movies after the second one.
Wow, you got to the second one. I'm proud.
Yeah. And
I saw them all, but I didn't pay for them all.
I swore off after not watching the first one, and I watched like one of the later ones, the one with the Dinobots in it, and dear God, that made no sense.
So
and there was like scenes that were like, there's a character comes in and then you never see him again for like half the movie, and then they show up again and you're like, is that the same person? Like, what is this going on?
I think it's the studio's inability to hire people who understand the franchise.
Well, plus it's those movies are made to do well in China, and so they don't necessarily make sense to our Western.
There was a whole like character subplot for a Chinese actor that was omitted from the U.S. release, but was in the Chinese theatrical. But I mentioned that because my buddy then went to see Bumblebee and just loved it.
Oh, perfect! That's what I like to hear.
It's definitely a stamp of approval from Nick in the chat.
There you go.
So go see that, or at this point probably have to pick it up as soon as it comes out, which I imagine is in a couple months.
I would think it's coming out pretty soon on demand. So
stuff comes out pretty quick these days.
Yeah, because that was November. I think it came out originally, so that's about right. About 3 months later. So fun times.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anything else that you've been enjoying?
No, I think that's it for me. I also have been watching Genlock, and I thoroughly enjoy it. I've watched the first 4 episodes. I think that's all it's out right at the recording time. And, really fun. Some crazy stuff happens, and good characters, and good voice actors. Like I say, these are like movie stars. Creed plays the main character, the guy from Creed, Michael B. Jordan. And, you get, Doctor Who, number 10, David Tennant, as the crazy scientist. And
yes.
That's fitting.
Who's the girlfriend again?
She's somebody too, yeah. And then the Scottish girl is from Game of Thrones. It's Arya. And,
oh,
that's right. Yeah, I forgot her. Maisie.
Yeah, Maisie Williams. And who is the other person? Because it is someone else famous too. It's so they're all well-known actors. So it's like good acting, and the animation is the Rooster Teeth kind of. It's a little off-putting to people who are not used to it. It's
like the CG.
Yeah, it's like
cell shaded.
Yeah, cell shaded.
It's Dakota Fanning.
Yeah, Dakota Fanning. That's right.
Oh, nice.
So a lot of people have complained about the animation, but I'm so used to it from watching Ruby that it doesn't really affect me. I think this is better than Ruby.
It is the newer. I mean, how the newer Transformers are of that same genre, and I don't hear a lot of people complain about that one.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you're going to get newer animation where we can't have the same animation. Things got to move forward.
And I think it's really good personally, but
I like it. I do. I don't hate the way that's going.
Yeah.
And so far the show is just them training and stuff, so it's a lot of funny situation. Them trying to control their new mecha suits and falling on their head a lot and failing. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty fun. And it's just getting serious now. There's the big bad was revealed in the last episode, so that's kind of fun.
Nice. Now here's the odd thing. I have not seen this yet of the shows. I just haven't gotten around to it.
It's because
yet.
it's not made in Japan. That's why you haven't seen it yet.
I don't have that stigma that people attach to that. I enjoy a lot of things across the spectrum for sure, but it's definitely on my radar. And the more I hear about it, the more that needs to get bumped up the watch list for sure.
I do hope that they do after the season's over, maybe put it out on regular on demand instead of having to have this subscription, because I understand they have to make money and it costs money to make this show, but more people need to see it, I think, before they're willing to pay for it. I think a lot of people won't take the chance. So, even watching the first episode, I think the first episode doesn't really set up what the show's about yet. You see a little bit of the mechs and stuff, but not really. So,
yeah, it's true. You don't get the origins.
No. And you don't really see too much. You get a big fight at the beginning, which is nice, but you want to see more of the other suits.
But you don't actually see the suits till the very end.
Yeah, that's right. And very little. And it's only 2 of the suits, and there's 4 or 5 suits now. So
yeah.
So it's
okay.
And they're all even now, they still haven't. They're all kind of generic, and as the characters do things, they kind of modify their suit a bit, and so I think the suits will change over time too, which is gonna be fun. And so everybody's gonna be they start off looking all the same kind of, and they're slowly changing so that one guy's really good at brawling, and one girl's a sniper, and one everybody's got their little thing, so their suits are changing to suit that, and I like that.
Okay. Nice.
Good show.
Very cool. I speaking of good shows, so one of the things I was picked up again is I finally got my own copy of the Build Fighters. And you may have seen me posting an AMV that has got a pretty awesome song with the footage from that show. And so that kind of kickstarted that interest in me again. So I finally got a hard copy of that show. Definitely planning to watch it in the near future again. And then I also busted out Gundam Breaker 3, which was not the US release one. It was the one right before. It was Japanese, but it's got English subtitles. So it's basically Build Fighters, the video game. So you get basically literally the boxes, and then you can take the parts on and off and make your custom mechs and stuff and paint them up and all sorts of craziness. So I was plugging away at that a bit more, working through the main story. At least where I'm at is you're training to join the Grand Championship, so you're going through all these qualifiers to be the best, like no one ever was, as they say. So it's a really fun game. I know some people didn't really enjoy the US or the formal US release of Gundam Breaker. So if you didn't like that game, but we're still kind of interested in that style, see about getting an import copy of the third game, because it's pretty awesome.
What are you playing it on?
PS4.
Oh, and you can get import games for that, and there's no region locking or anything anymore?
Yep.
Ah, cool.
PlayStation has always kind of been that weird, neutral ground, that Japanese games, typically work on it. The one, caveat is that, A, not all of them will be subtitled, but B, you'd also have to have a Japanese account if you wanted to access any of the online store stuff.
Yeah. But just actually, did you order it online, or what did you do?
Yeah, I just ordered it online. But yeah, it's a fun game. You can still play multiplayer without having to have a Japanese account. Ping rates might be high.
Yeah.
And people probably have crazy powerful suits at this point, because it's been out for a couple of years now. But it was fun to bust that out again. And then, let's see. There's another thing that, obviously I mentioned Battle Angel Alita, was pretty great. Man, there was one more thing. I can't think of it now. Otherwise, like I've said, I've been really busy with a whole bunch of other stuff going on. But yeah, that kind of wraps up what I've been doing lately.
All right.
Cool. So I think with that, we'll go into the MechBay Hanger and our topic of the month.
Now entering the MechBay Hanger.
All right, and welcome back for the MechBay Hanger. So our topic for this month was going to try and do something flavored for Adepticon, but instead kind of opted for what's your favorite like villains or antagonists or kaiju that we see in mecha shows, either in opposition to our main characters or just in general that we get to enjoy. So, I guess I can start with one of mine, and then we'll kind of go around the table. So, one of my favorite shows I've mentioned multiple times in the Gundam franchise is the 08th MS team. Mm-hmm. And I gotta say, a nice shout out for Norris Picard, the Goof custom pilot, the ace that takes on the entire 8th team, and pretty much accomplishes his objective while, disabling or subduing or totally wreaking havoc on the team single-handedly. He definitely is the guy, the pilot, that made that one of my favorite mechs to see in a fight. And he's also incredibly, like, his character over the course of the show is kind of that of a noble soldier who just happens to be on the bad guys team. He looks out to try and make sure people are doing right by one another. And he really stands up for his values. And ultimately, spoilers, he winds up sacrificing himself so that the injured and wounded, those that can no longer fight, have a chance to escape in the final moments of that show. So he's an awesome character, an amazing pilot, and a great foil for a lot of the other characters in that show.
That's the beauty of a lot of Gundam shows, but especially that one is it's very nuanced with the bad guys not really being that, like, some of them are bad, but a lot of them are just fighting the war, and they're pretty honorable, and they're not just trying to be jerks about it.
You don't always feel happy when they die.
Yeah, not mushroom twirling, just bad guys for bad guys' sake. A lot of them have, you get to know them and feel for them before they get murdered.
All right, I'll throw it over to Chopper. What's one of your favorites?
One of my favorites, probably my first favorite, is Rambaral.
Yeah,
I knew this was coming.
Pilot.
Yeah.
Rambaral, man, that's the guy. He's I think what you would call the epitome pilot. Kind of like what you see in the World War II movies or the Red Baron kind of thing, mutual respect for Amuro is what he had after, their first fight. Mm-hmm. And then, even after getting beat, he still comes back and, with his goof. And, of course, he's got my favorite line that, that Rob likes to make fun of. That's no Zaku, boy.
I don't make fun of it. You just say it so often that
because it's awesome. It's no Zaku. But then one thing I loved about Rambaral is that he went out like a boss when he knew he was done. When he knew he couldn't escape, he grabbed a grenade and jumped into the Gundam's hand and killed himself.
Yeah.
He went straight out samurai that way.
And for those that have been following like the Gundam Origins, he's actually a major character in the first couple episodes of that. He's pretty integral in getting.
Yeah, the Raw family's pretty deep in the Principality.
Yeah. He helps Casvel and
Dozel?
No. Casvel and Sayla's, I forget her real name.
Yeah.
Helps them escape from potentially getting assassinated by the Zabi family.
The Zabis, yeah.
So he's a great character through and through.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right.
He falls in that thing that Rob says, where most of these guys are just honorable pilots. And Ram Baral was probably one of those guys.
Especially like in his attitude towards Amuro, because there's that great moment where they meet each other in person.
Yeah, that's right.
At the bar.
Yeah,
at the bar, and
he knows who he is, and
then he has respect for Amuro, who's this teen,
who's 14-year-old,
14 years old, and he's like, oh no, that guy's an ace, like that's.
And he could have just had his troops kill him right there, but he that was that's not the way to do it.
He won the battle in the suits. You got a battle in a mobile suit.
Mm-hmm. All right,
Rob,
nice.
What do you got?
Good pick.
For my first one, I think I'm going to go for a nice generic one. I'm going to go for the Invid in Robotech. A lot of people would say that Zentradi were the one, but the Invid are so creepy and so alien.
Yeah.
They're in the new generation, or they're in the Genesis Climber Mospita original cartoon. But, they're crab-like beings, and they're single eye when it just, like, twitches around when it's looking for people. Like, as a kid, that always freaked the hell out of me. Those guys.
And they always search for the Matrix. Or
the flower of life. Yeah, they're always trying to get their drugs. Yeah, they're really just international drug dealers, but, such creepy, shaped beings. And, I did love the Invid, and it's interesting, those guys. I found them much more villainous and much more, of a threat. The Zentradi end up being the good, like, they are the good guys. They're just trying to protect the world from the universe from the Zentradi in the end. But they're trying to get the STF-1 to stop these guys. So if they're afraid of them, they must be pretty good.
Yeah.
So that's mine, the Invid. What about you, Brian? What's next?
Well, I want to do another kind of fun shout out for the ExFil.End series. There's a character named Delandau, who this is less of the honorable villains and more on the crazy side. So Delandau, I won't get into the entirety of this character, but basically it's this kind of Dark Knight kind of guy who of they called like the Dragon Knights or something like that. They work for the villain of the story, and basically they're just big bads that roam up into town, and with their giant fantasy mechs that have cloaks, like literally cloaking device cloaks, and just wreck everything. But Delandau is one of these guys who shows up pretty early on, and our hero Vaughn manages to defeat him, and as well, like, Delandau has a little posse of guys that fight with him, and slowly but surely, like, each one of them starts dropping to Vaughn, and so this guy keeps getting crazier and crazier and mad. And there's this whole thing where he gets, like, his cheek gets cut, and he's just, like, pushing on the bandage at one point. He's just going cheek, 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 like it's that great crazy in kind of that Joker style where he finds an antagonist, like someone that he hates, and just goes all out to try and take him out. Really, really fun, kind of on the opposite side of the spectrum. He's a great character. Weird things happen at the end of that show, but that's fine.
Surprising.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Rob, we'll go counterclockwise. We're going backwards again.
We're swinging back and forth here. Okay, my next one, I'm going to go for, you said kaiju, so I'm going to add a kaiju in here, and I'm going to go for Knife Head from Pacific Rim. The first one where Gypsy Danger fights, and well, I forget his name. The main character's brother gets ripped out of the
Rowley.
Yeah, Rowley's
Rowley
ripped out of the head of the thing, and that's just a great fight. And I love the way that fight's staged, because there's a fishing vessel like right there during the whole fight, so you can see it from that scale. It's such a Yeah, that's a great.
His brother's name was Yancey.
Yancey, that's right. Yeah. And I'll put it in the show notes. You can see the clip of that fight on YouTube, and you just want to see a good fight with a giant robot versus kaiju. That's one of the classic fights. In the end, he's just limping away with he's trying to drive the mech by himself, and it's just, great fight.
And that's the intro.
Yeah, that's the intro. The first one you see, pretty much, I think.
Yeah. I think they do the montage, but that's the first big fight that we see, and the fact that our heroes really get the crap kicked out of them.
Yeah, yes, it was I like that.
It was impressive.
Seeing that in the theater like to see that in the big screen. You'd never thought that you'd see something like that again, like outside of Japan, maybe. And as much as people don't like Pacific Rim, and it didn't do great, but for me, that was a major point of happiness to see that on the big screen. So I'm giving Knifehead the nod there.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
So, Pat?
All right. Pat.
Me?
Ooh, me?
I would pick next, since Rob generically picked the whole Invid.
Yes.
I am going to focus on one Zentradi. That was my favorite.
Well, Zentradi had much more characters, so that works.
Yeah. It was Chiron.
Oh, yes.
Chiron is probably the main antagonist to that whole first Robotech war. They called him the backstabber. What I loved about him is that he just didn't listen to anybody. And I'm going out, and I'm gonna murder these fools.
Yeah,
as many of them as possible.
Yeah,
make sure you don't damage the ship. I don't care. I'm gonna just mess them up.
So what I thought was really cool is the episode where he is egging on what's her face.
Mira,
what's her name? Mira, Mira. That there's someone on that ship that can kick your butt. You're not undefeatable.
Yeah, Max.
And then she blows through Roy Fokker, but then Max Sterling gives her a butt whooping. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, he's always just riling people up to do his dirty work.
Yeah, and I like the fact that even though he was always not disobeying orders, he never got replaced.
Yeah.
His boss got replaced. And then he still went ahead and said, you know what? I'm going out and I'm still killing some fools.
Yeah.
So that's what I loved about Chiron. He was just he was angry. He just wanted to kill everybody. Even after they made peace, he still went back and said, I'm still destroying the SDF-1.
All right, my next one is a throwback to Gundam 00, the invincible Patrick Collisauer. So he has never lost a mock battle. Is his big thing.
I've never lost a simulation.
Yeah, he's introduced that way as kind of this hotshot pilot at a training camp, and of course our heroes. At least one of our heroes, because that's another kind of Gundam Wing style where we've got multiple hero pilots, shows up and just wipes the floor with them, but he lives, and he proceeds to show up with an upgraded mech, and kind of get taken out unceremoniously every single time. But it's the fact that he still lives after all of that. He's pretty great. This is more of a comical villain, but a reoccurring, you'd kind of see in an old school RPG where you just you beat him up the first time and it's super easy, and then he shows up again and you just keep beating him on the head. So he's a fun character, and he gets the girl in the end. So good for him. Alright, and we'll swing back again. So, Pat.
Me?
Yeah.
Ooh,
me? My gosh.
What do you got?
Right, so I am going to go probably old school when I first started with mechs. Some might not call this a bad guy, but it was a bad guy to me because it was not my house. And that's the Draconis Combine.
The whole Combine?
Yeah, well, you know, they're the enemy.
Not even
All
like
of
the chancellor there, the bag. What's his name? Takeshi or whatever his name is.
Yeah, nope.
The
whole count. They were the enemy. House Steiner, damn you.
Yeah, see, for me, it's always been
House Kirita, you're done.
Yeah, the bad guys were always the Lao, not the Kiritas. So.
So, yeah. I mean, there's no reason other than just that's how things worked out when we played Battletech. My friend was way into the Combine. Like, he had patches on his jacket like he was a mech pilot for Kirita. And so, naturally, my Steiner mechs would destroy his Draconis Combine mechs. So they just became the enemy for me.
There you go.
I was wondering when some Battletech stuff would show up.
Oh, Battletech was the first for me, so.
Yeah. Nice. Rob should be next, right?
Sure. I'm gonna go also old school. I'm gonna go back to one of my early loves, and that's G1 Starscream. You could go with Megatron. Megatron's the face, but Starscream...
No, Starscream is the one.
Chris Latta's voice, and once again, I love G.I. Joe, so Cobra Commander and Starscream are both up there for me. And just him screaming and being so conniving and such a weaselly little guy.
That's the reason.
You gotta love him. You gotta love him.
He's so weaselly, that's why I love him.
He's so weaselly that he's ridiculously weaselly, and you just, he's great. He's always just trying to backstab, and he gets his in the end, sort of. As always, they all come back.
Another thing Michael Bay never got right was the weaseliness of Starscream.
Yeah, Starscream was supposed to be conniving. And his death in the movie, where he just turns gray and like crumbles, it's like, oh my god, this is disturbing. another
that was a
scar.
very disturbing movie in a lot of ways.
Yeah. But, Starscream was always, even as a kid, I was like, you can't hate Starscream, he's so funny. I always laughed at him. So that's how I'm going for the good old Starscream. What you got? Any more, Brian?
Well, it's I'm trying to figure out how I can qualify one of the characters in. Yeah, I'll throw it out there. So in Code Geass, you've got, and of course now my brain is blanking, but one of our heroes are pitted against the Lancelot, which if you haven't seen Code Geass, like the pretty cool thing with their mechs is that they all have like roller skates on, mm-hmm. and so they're just tearing through town, going crazy fast, and so the reason why I'm having trouble qualifying is because our main characters are kind of the bad guys that are terrorists, but this is a mech that specifically when they have a final showdown between the main character, and yes, I am Suzaku, of course. Suzaku and Colin have a final showdown. It's white robot versus red robot. You know, tale as old as time. And so these are our two, top tier aces, having a big showdown slugfest. And, it's a pretty awesome fight, with both pilots kind of giving, everything into it. In fact, like, Colin, on our protagonist side, basically passes out from exhaustion after, like, her mech shuts down. She doesn't even know if she's won. But it turns out, like, she got the killing blow, and the Lancelot just gets blowed up. But, like, throughout the series, it's a suit that continues to improve. It shows up very early on, and just continues to be a thorn in the side of Zero and his rebellion. Code Geass definitely on there. Again, like, technically Colin could be the antagonist because she works for the bad guys. But it's all good. That was a very political show. All right, and I'm going to kind of wrap up with one or two more if people have them. So swinging back towards Rob.
Well, I'm amazed nobody's mentioned this one. This is my last one, and it's Char. Nobody's mentioned Char as one of their favorites.
I was saving him for last.
Oh, there you go.
Still in my last one.
Oh, no. Both of you talk about him.
Well, you gotta love the red Zaku. That's all. Zaku 2 in the red.
The red comet.
Yeah, red comet. And yeah, I just thought he was so multifaceted, because you're like, is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? He's a pretty bad guy. But is he? Like,
he's killing bad guys.
Yeah, that's right. It's like, whose side is he on?
Yeah, well, what I really loved about Char is his whole Machiavellian rise to get revenge for the death of his dad.
Mm-hmm.
By killing all the Earth forces and becoming the best Xeon pilot out there, just so get close to kill all all the other guys. I forget the names of the bad guys again.
Garma and let's see, he takes out Garma and is it just
and the girl? He also kills the girl.
Yeah, Cassilia.
Cassilia.
Because Cassilia kills Giran, and Giran kills Degwin, the dad.
Yeah.
And then Dozel gets killed by Amuro and Slegger.
Yeah. But doesn't he get egged on by Char to go fight Amuro, though? That causes him to die?
Well, he's kind of a big pompous dude himself. He was raring to fight, so Dozel's the only one not killed by friendly fire.
Oh, that's right. He watches Dozel's death at the bar when he got sent back.
Yeah. Maybe.
I think so. It's been such a long time since I watched Mobile Suit. But even better is that when you get into Mobile Zeta, though, you see him come back, and then he actually fights along with Amuro and Bright Noah and trains. Doesn't he train Bright? He becomes Bright's mentor.
Doesn't train Bright. He trains Camille.
That's right, Camille.
Yeah.
But then they fight the AEU.
They are the AEU.
Yeah, the AEU. So again, he's against Anti-Earth still, but
yeah, still Anti-Earth, but that's because the Titans are kind of like the Gestapo.
Yeah, Earth becomes bad. They switch places now. Xeon.
Well, you could probably say that Earth was always bad.
Well, yeah, it's true. I mean,
that's kind of the thing with Gundam. It's like, the Earth is never really in the right for most of it. Yeah. They just...
the Xeons just went too far a few times, and they got accused of being the bad guys.
the scales got tipped just enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. So
did you have anything to add on Char then, Rob?
No, that wraps it up. I liked him just because, the whole time you're
he's wearing a mask.
Yeah, he's got a good mask on, but he's also just, he's working against the people he's with, and anytime he can, he just screws people over for his own ends.
So what's your both favorite Char's mecha? Because he has a dozen by the end of the series.
Oh, he has one of every, doesn't he? He even had a Gelgoog. Well,
he had a Gelgoog, yeah.
Everyone knows what my favorite is, so it's
the Zagak.
It's the Xeon.
Yeah, the Xeon.
Mine's the Zaku 2 for sure.
You like the Zaku 2?
Yeah.
He had a goof too, didn't he?
No, he never got a goof. Because it would have been painted red, and that's just doesn't go well with the blue.
What's the...
Zaku 2 is the one with the shoulder spikes.
Zagak. He had the underwater mech for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Zagog.
And then he in Zeta he had a Rick Diaz for a while.
That's right. Well, didn't he steal a Gundam suit? In the very first episode of Zeta.
Did he steal that one? Probably. That Mark II keeps getting stolen by everybody in that show. Granted, the Mark II is an awesome mech. I can understand why everyone wants one. But yeah. Then he's got the Yakushiki is his, Shinanju is his, Counter-Strike one, I think. Anyway, Char's got a lot of mechs. Leave your favorites in the comments below.
That's right.
It's true.
Alright, and, I think to wrap up mine, I gotta throw out there Metal Gear Rex. You guys played Metal Gear Solid, yeah?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I love how it's premiere in the original Metal Gear Solid. It's a really like awesome design that's kind of part dinosaur, part robot with machine guns and a railgun and all sorts of craziness. But I also absolutely love that it comes back in the fourth game after like a decade of being in this, Alaskan secret base. They just left it there. Or a couple of decades. I forget how long 4 takes place afterwards. It still works. And I don't know if you guys have played 4, but there's a great sequence where Solid Snake gets to pilot that thing. And it's awesome. It's like a real Dinobot. A non-Michael Bay version.
Non-Michael Bay version Dinobot.
All right.
I think I like a lot of antagonists that join the good guys at some point.
I do like that in general. Like,
I'm
a big Magneto fan, so.
It's a good dynamic. All right, but with that, if you guys have any favorite villains or antagonists or kaiju, I know we didn't mention as many kaiju that we should have, but we're already running a little long, so I think with that we'll start wrapping up and calling it a night.
Let's exfil out of here.
All right, and then with that, I think we're going to be wrapping up this evening. So thanks for checking out the show, everybody. You can subscribe to us on Podbean and on the Facebook group.
Yep, come to the
and
Facebook
Twitter.
Group. Come to Twitter. Come to. I'm sure we're on iTunes. We're everywhere that you can get podcasts. Most likely. We also to big announcements that we have a new YouTube channel. Pat's been posting up videos up on YouTube, and we've got some good stuff going there. So check that out. Go subscribe. The link is in the show notes again. Yeah. Anything else to add, guys?
No, just enjoy.
We'll see all of you at Adepticon.
Just enjoy the mechs.
Yep. Enjoy Mecha. Come to Adepticon. We'll be running the Mech Zone. It's called Mech Wars in the Adepticon book, though, for some reason. You can join that. I think Friday still has some spots, so come sign up for that. Me and my buddy Jack will be running those. You can the mechs are provided. You just battle it out in a arena, and some wacky adventures happen. So fun time should be had by all.
Do you have rules for that posted? I know you're working on some. Are those live? Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, the rules are, there'll be a rule booklet with it, but it's pretty much, if you go get the Dead Zone rules, it's a simplified version of Dead Zone. So,
sure.
The mechs can be knocked down.
Which is pretty solid, guys.
Yeah.
For those that haven't played it that are our listeners, Dead Zone's a really solid game.
Yes, really fun game. All of us are into it. But, the big difference is mechs can get knocked down, mechs can, get blasted, they can get set on fire.
They can get knocked down, they can get up again.
That's right.
You're never going to keep them down?
Probably not until you destroy them. And then
just sing that song, it'll stay on the ground.
I get knocked down, but I get up again.
Enough singing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's gonna be fun. You're gonna be knocked off buildings in your mechs, you can wrestle around. All different types.
It's not a Mar episode unless they're singing and rapping.
That's true.
We do have some positive feedback on our beatboxing.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Rob, you're surprised, Rob.
I am surprised.
Quality beatboxing. Come on.
Yeah.
Razel couldn't do any better.
What?
We're turning people off as we speak, people.
Yeah. Well, it's the end of the episode. So with that, I've been Brian.
And I've been Chopper.
I'm still Rob.
All right. Thanks for checking out the show, everyone.
Come back next time.
This has been Mobile Armor Radio. Join our Facebook group by searching for Mobile Armor Radio. Find us on Twitter @MArmorRadio. Find us on iTunes and visit our website, mobilearmorradio.podbean.com. Join us on the first of every month for more mecha discussion.